Good morning, David Atkins, Target Individual. I hope everyone's all right today. It's been a rough week for me. I got hit pretty hard yesterday in my heart, my whole body. Didn't get much accomplished at all. So today I'm going to play a video of Rauni killed at a conference, a covert harassment conference, and she was a doctor and a finished doctor, and she had a degree in parapsychology, and she spoke out at conferences and all over the world, and she died in 2015. Well, this is from a conference in August of 2014. Okay, but before I start, I'm going to say a Bible verse, and I'm going to read the last email she ever wrote before she passed away. Okay, and then I'm going to show a video clip of her speaking at a conference. Pretty detailed video clip. You're going to find it very interesting and very informative. Okay, Matthew 5:14 through 16. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead they put it on a stand and give light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. And what I guess I'm trying to say with that verse is don't never let them put your light out. Always remain, um, don't never let this program make you bitter. Try to keep a positive. I know that's hard. I was bitter for years and, still find myself sometimes slipping in that bitter mold and I have to, nobody's perfect, but just try to let your light shine. Refuse to let them make you bitter. Okay, here. This is one of her last emails sent to a friend in 2015. Thank you. I was badly attacked on the 17th and 18th December with psychotronic weapons laying at the floor with extreme pains until after midnight. I had to call an ambulance on the 19th to go to the hospital where malpractice started from first minute. Male doctor hit my right kidney so hard that my urine was bloody the next day. For 3 days, female did not touch me at all. I had said it all comes from beaming and she said no one will believe you. I said Insiders do. Even my heart was not listened to. She stood 2 to 3 meters away from me all 3 days until I said I want to go home. And did I have a serious illness now which they have caused irradiation? It was now activated at some bed rest. I got assistance to travel with wheelchair to Finland where I will have all the tests redone. And Finland is not a NATO country having to follow U.S. orders, and it is right now much better for me to be here and go to hospital here. In addition, my old cat disappeared at night. I got a flash vision they hit and smashed her skull with a wooden plank. Even if they tried to eliminate me by giving 2 times an injection I was allergic to, I will survive, says my automatic writing, even to be able to perform later. But it takes time. I'm totally out of energy still, mostly in bed all day. Please do not spread the word, but if you know any healers, I appreciate to get their help because I try to get better only with alternative methods. If it would succeed, would be a medical miracle showing the power of thought and healing. Greetings to you. Love and light, Ronnie. Now, let me say one more. She died in her homeland in Finland by severe cancer all over her body. Her Finnish cousin told Dr. Henning White. And talked about Ronnie 10 days on the phone, not knowing, 10 days before on the phone, not knowing it was the last time. She complained about she suddenly got cancer as a result of beaming technology, mind control, and scalar waves. Her complications got so severe she was forced to leave her home in Norway to a hospital in Finland where her caring cousin is living. And you have to listen. You have to understand before I play this video. This woman was going around in conferences speaking out about this stuff, trying to expose it, and she had connections. And I don't know if you've seen the gang stalking manual, COINTELPRO manual, slipping around. She got that somehow, doing some covert stuff. Trying. Anyway, she got her hands on it somehow, and she's the one that exposed that. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoy this video. Well, not enjoy it because nothing's enjoyable, but I hope it's informative. God bless y'all.
Friends, what is the biggest secret in the world? Have you ever thought about it? It's you, yourself, a human being on this planet Earth. You are the biggest secret to yourself and to your fellow men, women, children. Why is that? Because we are always fixing our sight to the human body, which is actually like a car to a driver. And we are so ignorant that we think that the car and the driver are one. They are not. If you take any cell of your body, not just brain cells, but any cell of your body, put it under electron microscope, it vibrates. And you take it out of the electron microscope, it's solid. Just like when you're in the airplane and you look at the starting of the flight, it goes slowly, 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 and then it goes so fast that they disappear. Yet we know physically they're there. And until medical doctors realize, even if we do know in schooling, but we forget that man is a mind, not a body, until that comes, I would say, general knowledge, then the world will change. And what does it mean that man is a mind, not a body? Because every single cell vibrates. You see me as a solid person, but actually every cell vibrates. And you can prove the vibration with the electron microscope. And when you think that our brain is 87% water, and our body about 70% water, think about it. What holds us together is energy. And our energy body can leave the physical body like the driver can leave the car and come back. And when the car crashes, our body crashes, then the driver, our energy body, leaves, takes a break, and takes another kind of physical appearance, either on this planet or somewhere else. That is why Russian General Alexei Savin stated some time ago in Pravda that a human being is an information and electronic system which can be influenced from outside. And that is when it comes to the TIs, targeted individuals, we can be influenced with psychotronic weapons from outside, because the influence is not just on our body, it is on our energy body, and that's much worse. We think that we need brain cells. Well, already as a medical student, I saw a video of Danish and English children. They were teenagers, 15, 16, 5 of them, and they had only 5% of brain cells in their head, and they were mathematically geniuses. Again, you can be influenced from outside. But this technology that we're dealing with today is actually old. Already in 1874, in the United States, in Good Samaritan Hospital, they were doing experimentations with electrodes put into the brain. Well, at that time, of course, the patient died, and even today they may do so, but these experimentations have been going on from that time, over 100 years. In the 50s, it really exploded, and probably first in the United States, and of course in Russia, because they're always competing. But again, when we think what it is to be a human being, in psychiatry, we are not ever taught what is a normal human being. It should be taught to medical students. They make a diagnostic statistical manual for mental disorders. It's in its 5th edition now. And I tried to comment something a year ago, because in internet they gave 2 months time to anybody to comment and maybe correct something. And I tried to send emails, please, 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 define what it is to be a normal human being before you start saying what is abnormal. Of course, it was just deleted. But today, Diagnostic Statistical Manual lists every normal, quote, quote, normal behavior of any of us as a mental illness. That is atrocious. They can take any of us into asylum, because there's also a paragraph saying that you can harm a patient if it is for research, future research. Can you imagine? Medical doctors who have an oath of Hippocrates. But anyway, you can sort of start thinking why the military does not think that it is a mental illness if you're a targeted individual, because in the military it is listed, all these weapons and their use, as non-lethal weapons. Non-lethal. Now, in today's world, everything is upside down that you hear. Non-lethal is lethal when it's used lethally. But it sounds so nice to say we're using non-lethal weapons which do not kill. They do kill if you have enough strength in them. So military accepts this technology, and psychiatry says it is, a mental illness. There's something very, very wrong in our society today. And I listened once to, in Ettlinger in Germany, non-lethal conference. Non-lethal conference. They have them every 2 years. So there was Colonel John Alexander, an American who is very knowledgeable about parapsychology, ufology, and mind control. He said everybody always asked, who are they? Who are they who are controlling us? Who are they who are doing something? And he did this. He put like a square here and said, here in the middle is the sign for New World Order. Here on this side is CIA, FBI, and the Star of David. And on this side there was British intelligence, MI5, MI6. They are they. Now how can we fight against them? Because they have all the possible weaponry. This is a conference room, but it doesn't have an overhead, so I just have to try to show a picture. Meaning, this is from England, overview of how the weapons are deployed by the mind control police. Mass remote mind control by blanket coverage of the population, which is achieved via the mobile phone network. You have all these radars, you have helicopters, you have also, of course, any planes, you have neighbors, and they can, through the wall, they can beam you anytime, usually at night, and especially before you wake up, so that you would be totally exhausted when you go to work, if you achieve to go to work. New York Times, already in 70s, beginning of 70s, and this was from 1967, push-button people. That's what they want us to be, push-button people. They send a certain frequency, and we are like robots. They want to robotize the whole human population to control, because we're too many, they say. Well, it depends how you calculate too many, but they have their own measures to eliminate us. In 1992, in Rio Earth Summit Conference, it was official that 85% of world population has to be eliminated. And it's done with conventional warfare, like in the Middle East right now. It's also done with vaccinations, like the swine flu. Anybody who took the swine flu vaccination has a microchip now and a sterilizing agent, because they want to sterilize us also, without, of course, our consent, without our knowledge. But we're individuals. Everybody does not react the same way. And the microchipping is now so small, it's nanosized, 2 micromilli, when your hair diameter is 50 micromilli. So there's not a surgeon in the world that can operate them. Once you get them, they are inside your body, and your own body heat keeps them, quote, quote, active as long as you live. But the old ones from 60s and 70s, when they were about the size of rice grain, those you can of course operate if somebody still has some. But usually those operations that have been done with some TIs previously, and they have been able to take these old ones away, they have disappeared. They are sent to a laboratory in New York, they never come back. In Indonesia, I know a man who was operated by a surgeon there, and Secret Service came and took it. So it's almost impossible to operate them, but we don't need the operations. Because if we go to a big dental clinic, which has an orthopantomograph, which is an X-ray taken from your teeth and your head, it gives a signal. All of a sudden, your head starts saying, whew, 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 whew. And you can measure it like 27 hertz. So that shows that you do have a microchip, but it does not show what is your programming, because that is the most important. Some of us are programmed just to be observed. That is VIPs. Highest politicians are now the targets, also admirals and generals. They used to be prisoners and mental patients, but today, anybody. So they want everybody under control, and think when the military highest leaders are under control of this Kabbalah, this elite who controls the world, and they're humans, they're not extraterrestrials like somebody thinks. They're us humans, even if extraterrestrials sometimes do appear as human beings in human bodies. So what can we do? Well, first I think we have to know that this technology exists. And like Peter said, we have to know that we do not get help from the politicians, from the institutes, from the police. The only help we can get is from ourselves. Now, when we again think what it is to be a human being, there's a Gallup, which was interesting, all of European nations about it's a national survey, and he was asking how many percent, what percentage of each country experiences, for instance, telepathy, clairvoyance, or contact with the energy of the dead. Of course, with the energy body. You cannot die. We cannot die. The car crashes, the body dies, but you cannot. And it was interesting that 41% of Icelanders claim that they have contact with the energy of the dead. 41%. And psychiatry at that time, especially in the mid-80s, was stating that if you say that you have contact with the energy of the dead, you're schizophrenic. So are almost half of the people in Iceland schizophrenic? Of course not. Medicine is not as it should be. It has to change totally to acknowledge what it is to be a human being. Belgium, since we're in Belgium, Belgium said that 11% have contact with the dead. Belgium said that 18% had telepathy. And Belgium said 12% had clairvoyance. And America, which always is the biggest, quote, quote, 58% claimed telepathy, 24% claimed clairvoyance, and 27% claimed contact with the dead, when the European medium was 32% telepathy, 20% clairvoyance, and 23% contact with the dead. So we should start thinking totally from a different angle also when we think of being a TI targeted individual, which we all are, and which seems that this technology is not going to stop. It gets worse and worse and worse. And we do know that satellite spies exist. Australia, Paul Baird published a paper about satellite spies and all the technologies that they are using altering our consciousness. They can affect our brain waves and change them. Echelon satellites can interfere with our conversations. Audiovisual satellites can make us see whatever the data technician sitting there, sending it through the satellite to our brain, we see that picture. And of course it's military, because they are sending planes that are attacking us, they are sending tanks that are attacking, and actually the soldiers that see them think they're real, but they are just pictures graphically sent from data via satellites. So we are in a dilemma, I would say. And if you think that there have been efforts, also medically, in medical conferences, I think I was the first doctor in the world, 1999, 2000 and 2001, in medical conferences, talking about neuroelectromagnetic telecommunication and cybernetics. They were printed, of course, in the proceedings, but not one newspaper would pick it up, because they're not allowed. You cannot get through to corporate-owned mass media with anything which is important to us. Sometimes, during maybe July, when the chiefs are gone and there are journalist students, sometimes you can get small things out. And in alternative media, of course, but also that is controlled. So we are in a dilemma. And I would say that what is it that we can do? There's one thing that we can all do. One thing that absolutely will help. And that is using your own energy. Your own energy every morning, every evening, focusing with direct focus and intensity, asking for protection. Because the universal energy is absolutely stronger than any man-made energy and any of those vehicles and any of those weapons that military has done. It sounds unbelievable to those who have not even tried, but you have to start from ABC. You are not an expert immediately. It takes time. But once when you get the contact into the universal energy, you can do anything. You can really do anything, and you can protect yourself. And that's why I would ask you to remember one thing, the power of the thought. The power of your thought is so tremendous that, for instance, if this room, all of us would decide that every morning and every night we are concentrating, even for a minute, but 5 minutes if you have that time, focus, focus, focus for protection. For all of us, every TI, every human being, every animal, which of course they are also, like we have, an energy body. They have a soul that has been proven even in Cambridge now. So every morning, every evening, the power of thought, of protection and contact to change the world to the extent we want to have it. So it's up to us now, and nobody else is going to help us. Remember, man is a mind, not a body. Thank you.